Thank you /relationship_advice. I finally left my extremely abusive boyfriend. What are some tips to keep safe? I used to post on here all the time talking about the numerous problems I had with my abusive boyfriend. I always got the same answer, which was leave him, but I was too afraid. Last Friday on November 27th I packed up my stuff and broke up with him. What led me to do this was a nasty fight we had where he broke all my makeup, ruined a pair of shoes and broke my jewelry. Stayed at a hotel for 3 days until I found a place to live. My ex kept texting me, calling me, and even told the police I was in danger. I explained to them about the harassment and they told him to back off. He think I'm in another part of Canada, but I'm still in the same city that he is. We have a population under 300,000 and I'm just wondering what tips you have for me to be safe. Thank you again. Please be careful about what details you post publicly on Reddit. If he or his friends are on Reddit, they may recognize that you are the one posting, and you don't want to give away details here that you're trying to keep him from finding out, such as where you've moved. I don't know about Canada, but in the US, I didn't change my driver's license/address, as required by law when move. When I looked myself up on the internet there was nothing but my old addresses. After 3 years I had to get a new driver's license, and within a few months my new address showed up on the internet searches. My situation was extreme. I moved several states to hide from my stalker ex-husband. Edit: wasp spray shoots a foam 15 to 20 feet, aim for eyes. Protection if needed, handy home item. Get off social media for a while. Don't allow friends to post photos of you or speak to others of areas or places you frequent. Go through social accounts and delete people who aren't really your friends anymore. The less accidental connections, the better. Turn off the GPS in all your devices and wipe them clean if possible. There are hidden tracking apps that could have been installed on them. I understand it's not always possible to pick up and move, but consider it if you can. In the meantime, call your local transition house or domestic violence shelter. They should be able to safety plan with you over the phone, and many have outreach workers who can check in with you regularly and make sure you are safe. Let a trusted friend know what is going on, and have some sort of check-in process with them. Establish a code word you can use with them over the phone/text if you are not safe, but can't say so openly. This friend should know the man's name and address in case they need to call the police on your behalf. File restraining order against him. Move. No social media, change number, stay with a trusted loved one or friend that he doesn't know where they live. Congrats on getting out. Stay safe. It will take a while to mentally heal, but I bet you feel so free right now without the control. Don't know how to tell my infertile wife that I got my AP pregnant. First time post because I cannot ask anyone else. Might be long post. Me 37M and my wife 38F have been married for 10 years and together for 15 years. I am a software engineer and my wife is a nurse. In early stages of marriage, we tried for a baby for about 2 to 3 years but no result, so we consulted a doctor. He told us that my wife was infertile and would never be able to become mother. We decided to live child-free and we adopted 3 dogs. About 7 months ago, my wife had a shitload of work at hospital due to COVID and she had to spend most of the time at hospital. Whenever she came home, I would be asleep because I had to take care of home and dogs plus my own work, so I was exhausted at the end of day. During this time, she grew closer to one of her colleague, 40M, and started an affair. They had DA which turned into PA. Their affair lasted for about 2 months. I had no idea about the affair because there was no noticeable change in her behavior. I think she changed her hospital branch on her own. I had no clue why she changed, but she told me that she had a fight with one of the employees and they were being allocated in different branch for same reason. About 2 months ago, my wife started crying on our dinner date and told me about the affair. I was crushed and ended up going going for drinks. I drank way too much and was unable to drive back home. Luckily, our neighbor saw me and took me to home. I slept the night in the spare bedroom along with dogs. Next morning, I asked her about affair and why she did that. She answered by saying that there was no excuse for affair and it was her fault and she was the wrong person. Then I asked her about time span of affair. Apparently, the time span hurt me the most. For 2 months, how she could betray me every day yet still put the mask on. She even hid it from me for about 4 months. I don't know why, but I stayed. Maybe it was her remorse and her passion to reconcile. After D-Day, I started drinking more and every night, I was blackout drunk at bar. My neighbor worked at the bar and always helped me to get home. This led to the attraction of me towards her. I know that revenge affair lead to mess up situation, but at that time, I was just thinking ways to hurt my wife like she did to me. My affair started about a month and a half ago. My AP was my neighbor, 27F. So it was not at all difficult for me to reach at her place. Whenever my wife went to work, I invited her to my house or I would go to her house. This went for about 5 weeks. She told me that she was on birth control, so we did not use condoms. She was not looking for later, so she was just casually dating me. About 2 weeks ago, my wife came home early from work and saw me kissing the neighbor in her home through the window. She non-stop banged the door and was crying like crazy. As soon as I opened the door, she attacked my AP and grabbed her hair. I lifted her and took her to our home. At home, she had a panic attack. I thought that I would feel better after revenge, but I was feeling more disgusting in myself. That night we talked about details and she was angry that I took my affair to our home. She said she doesn't want to know detail because that would make her more resentful to our home and everything would be a trigger. That night, she tried to attempt suicide, due to which she was sent to mental health hospital for a week. Now we are in better place and are happy with each other. She came home last week and we are trying hard to reconcile. But this morning, my neighbor sent me the message that she is pregnant and I am the dad. I immediately called her and asked her that she was taking birth control, so how could she get pregnant? She said that she changed her pills from one brand to another, so that could be the reason. I asked her if there is any other possibility of being father, to which she said that I was the only one she was sleeping with for about 2 months. Now I am regretting my decision of revenge affair, and apparently, my wife would not be able to handle this news. I know I am biggest scumbag and not deserve another chance, but I truly want to reconcile and be with my wife. My wife has always dreamed of having children. I don't want to hurt her feelings. I talked to my AP about abortion. She said that she had 3 miscarriages until now. She would not abort the baby if baby survives. I don't know if I should tell her or not, and if I should tell her, how should I tell her? Any advice is appreciated, and you can cuss me in the comments. Your marriage will not survive this. The sooner you can accept that, the better. She did an awful thing, and instead of dealing with your feelings, you tried to hurt her more than she hurt you. This is just the final nail in the coffin. Since she's already tried to kill herself once, I would suggest telling someone she can rely on before you tell her. That way, once she kicks you out or leaves herself, there will be someone there to watch her to make sure she is safe. You said there's a prenup, so this will be over easily and quickly. At this point, an easy divorce is all you can hope for. Not going to cuss you. That is not what you are here for. Your wife is going to go ballistic and this will be the end of your marriage. Should have been after her affair, and you know that. Protect your finances and get a divorce attorney. Figure out who is going to get the dogs and start over. Also, you are going to be a dad. Make sure you are a good dad even if you do not have a relationship with the mom. Good luck. I'm positive that your marriage should end. I think it will break your wife's heart, but lying would also break her heart. You need to figure out if you will be in your child's life or if you should prepare yourself to pay for child's support. If you decide you don't want to be a dad to AP's child, then you need to tell her and help her financially. If your wife decides to stick around, you need to create distance between you and AP. And you and your wife need couples counseling immediately and individual counseling. Dude, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You're petty and both of you are childish. But this is your reality and you need to make decisions based on the longevity of the future. Being honest right now is better than her finding out in the future. And you and your wife, if you both decide to stay together, need to start from a blank slate. And you need to prepare for the worst and lawyer up too. You've made your decision to stay with your wife. Now it's her turn. You have to be honest. Your wife deserves to know that you didn't use condoms with your cheat partner so she can get tested for STDs. You also have to tell her the other woman is pregnant. She will find out eventually and things will be much worse if you hide it from her. Gonna be honest. Your marriage is probably over, and should be. If there is any chance of saving it, it will require total honesty, total transparency, marriage counseling, and probably moving. Man, I don't want it to spray this whole post with bleach. It's bad enough on its own, but in COVID, we have a freaking nurse sleeping with another frontline worker, coming home to a man who drinks in the bar every night, then goes and has unprotected sex with a bartender, who's serving all the other COVID denier alcoholics. Then it all ends up in a psych ward. This is like a vector orgy. That's just awful for everyone involved. Really awful. Also, having an affair is horrible to begin with, even if in revenge, but not using condoms with someone who you're having an affair with literally puts everyone at risk. Which I guess you've found out. There's no way to sugarcoat it and it is going to really hurt your wife. I would be devastated. Sit her down, tell her you have news that is going to be a shock and then just tell her. Make sure it's early in the evening so if she wants to go somewhere else, people will still be awake and she can use a support system. Then wait for the fallout. This is where your choices have got you. My 27F boyfriend, 29M, wants to give me a hall pass. I'm not sure what to do. My boyfriend and I have been together for a little over a year. We currently live together. For the last 6 months his sex drive have been decreasing due to depression. For a while he was in the mood on occasion and still enjoy his me time and would jerk off on occasion. Now he has lost all enjoyment of anything sexual including jerking off and his me time along with sex in general. He feels like he isn't able to satisfy me and he feels bad about that. Because of this he is giving me permission to be with other guys as long as it's just sex, not at our apartment. I use protection, he doesn't hear about it, and that our family time remains the same. No making plans when he's home. My problem is I don't know how I should feel about this. I'm finding it a lot to take in. Do not do this. His headspace is utterly messed up. This is a great way to blow up your relationship. He's so insecure he feels he can't satisfy you. He needs more help, not less. At least, not the kind of help where you go bang other dudes! Exclamation mark. If your BF needs help for improving sex drive, daily walks in the sun and more exercise, and quitting all porn use. As well, a regular sleep schedule, i.e. in bed at 10 p.m., wake up at 7 a.m. every day kind of thing. I think you should try explaining to him that in every long-term relationship, different arenas will fluctuate over time. For example, sometimes you will have more or less sex, more or less emotional intimacy, difference balances in how you split money or housework, etc. Right now he is working on something and it's decreased how much sex you have. This won't last forever, and it sounds like you are committed to seeing it out. You could flip things to get him to think. For example, let's say you had a medical condition and you couldn't have sex or didn't want to because of the pain/inconvenience. If he's a good boyfriend, then he's not going to be concerned that your sex level has gone down. He's going to be concerned about being a supportive partner and working with you on your plan to get better. I would suggest now is the time to try and increase your relationship in another area. For example, work on your quality time, getting to know each other, focus on the household, do things together you've always wanted, or even just appreciate some space from one another/let yourselves have some time to miss one another. Whatever feels appropriate and helpful to you. Since you say he's seeing a doctor and counselor, it sounds like he's taking the steps he needs to manage his depression. The best you can do then is reassure him that you see all of him, the whole person, only one part of which is sexual. Honestly, you've been the most helpful over everyone else. Thank you.